Hey guys, it's Scott here and welcome to today's video. This is my Premier League Team of the Season predictions. Long awaited, I know. If you do enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button down below, and if you're new around here, you enjoy this style, then why not hit subscribe to see more videos as well as nearly daily live streams of FIFA, Fortnite and more. This is obviously, like I just said, Team of the Season predictions for the Premier League. Nothing is official yet. It's most likely going to come out in a couple of weeks, because the community team of the season is the first one that's going to be released upcoming next Friday. So the reason why I'm doing a prediction for the Premier League is because it's the league that I watch by far the most. I support Leicester, so my team are in the Premier League, so I watch us play every single game, and then I watch loads of other games as well. And I feel comfortable predicting the team of the season, whereas other leagues, whilst I support Barca and I watch basically all the Barca games, I don't watch all the other teams, and so I wouldn't feel comfortable saying who should get in Team of the Season from that. But I feel like I've seen such a range, because I watch so many games in the Prem each season, that I can judge it to at least a half-decent standard. So what I want from you is your reaction to this, and do you think I've made any errors? Do you think I've left anybody out? Do you think I've put someone in that doesn't deserve to be there? Put it in the comments section down below and let me know what changes you would make. Maybe you can also make it yourself on Foothead or something like that, and that would be cool. But we're going to jump right into this. I do have a couple of honourable mentions that I have not fit into my team, and I'll go over those and the reasons why I think I've chosen that guy over that guy, for example, as we go through. But let's do this. First things first, they've gone with a lightning theme for whatever this year. Interesting choice. The cards do look pretty sick though. So I'm going to go from bench and reserve, starting 11. So firstly, we start off with Lucas Fabianski. Now, the ratings that I've chosen and the stats that I've chosen, for a lot of them, I have added 7 onto their highest rated card, because that's sometimes between 5 and 7 onto their highest rated card is normally how Team of the Season works. And then I've just, on a lot of the cards, done a blanket plus 10 on all of the stats, just to give a rough idea of the kind of boost that they could get, okay? Some of them I've not gone as high because I think it'd just be a bit too much, but you'll see as we go through. But firstly, Fabianski. Now, he could get a Team of the Season most consistent, but I believe that the most consistent cards will also be in the main team if they get one, right? So, Fabianski, you got John Stones, Maddison, Wan-Bissaka, and I believe a couple of others, Milivojevic. I believe they get into the actual team if they got those most consistent cards. So, Fabianski's been sick since he signed for West Ham. A very, very good signing, and he's just a solid keeper. There are a couple of shouts, though, for other players that could potentially get put into this bench spot. I think Rui Patricio's had a good season. Ben Foster, as much as I hate him because he time wastes every game, has actually had a very good season. And Carl Etheridge, I think, has a decent shout as well from Cardiff. I think he's been one of their best players this year. So there's a couple of shouts, and that's the case for a lot of these positions, which is why I say I'll try and mention the honourable mentions, the not quite but close players. Now, also this year, because we've got weekly objectives, there's a chance that, let's say, an Etheridge could pop up as a weekly objective. We may get 3, 4, 5 slightly lower rated Team of the Seasons in weekly objectives and SBCs. So the guys that I mentioned that have just missed out of my team, there's still a chance, okay? There is still a chance. We move on. Luca Dean. He's been solid. Very good signing again from Barcelona to Everton. He scored some bangers of free kicks especially, and he's been pretty solid. And Everton actually, towards the end of the season, have actually gone on a very, very good run of getting a lot of clean sheets. I believe it's like 7 in 9, which is mental, considering at the start of the season they weren't close to that. People were basically laughing at them. So Dean has been a very, very good player for them, and I would be quite surprised if he didn't make the bench of this Team of the Season. And the other defender that I've put on the bench is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's been sick. If you've watched Palace play, then you'll know he looks very, very promising. Young English talent. He's probably going to get snapped up by one of the top teams in the league, and that wouldn't be too surprising. Got a lot of potential, and he really, really does look like a solid player. He's been one of Palace's best players this season whenever I've watched him, and he seems a very popular one. He's going to get in the Team of the Season most consistent, pretty much guaranteed. So again, I think that will transition over to the Prem Team of the Season as well. Now, in terms of honourable mentions for the defence that are not in my starting 11, the bench or the reserves, I've got Chilwell and Ricky P from Leicester, of course. Again, I'm not going to be biased towards us, those have probably been our best 2 players this year. So it kind of sucks that they got informs, because then they've not got a chance of getting the most consistent team of the season. But I don't know if they've quite been at the level to get an actual team of the season card. So I think that they'll just miss out. But again, they are great examples of players that we could get in weekly objectives or something like that. I've also got down Matt Doherty and Bolly of Wolves. Doherty's been involved in so many goals at right wing back this season. He's been sick. Bolly's been very solid as well. Like, there's quite a few people that you can put in that just aren't quite making the team or whatever, but you know that they've been good, and it feels harsh to not really put them in. But that's why I want to try and mention everybody. So those are a couple of honourable mentions. Of course there's more, but I'm not going to go through a list of like 20 players for each position, because it would just be silly. So let's move on. Next bench player we've got is Wijnaldum. Now this was hard, because I feel like you've got to have some kind of Liverpool, like, you got to have lots of Liverpool and Man City representation this year, because, oh my days, those 2 teams are ridiculously good. So I went with Widge, because I feel like he's been underrated, and he's actually been solid this season. Now, he's been one of the constants, well, more so than like a Fabinho or whatever, that seems to just be in and out of the team. And maybe it was down to Ox getting injured, a long time ago now, that he really forced himself into the team. But I think that Genie's been pretty solid, and I wouldn't be surprised if himself or one of the other Liverpool guys got in there. Obviously Henderson got a team of the knockout stage in the Champions League, but I feel like it might just go to Widge. We'll have to wait and see, but it could be a very, very nice card if he got one, because his 84 inform or whatever it is not too shabby. Next up, boom, Christian Eriksen. Now, this may be a little bit too high, but I want to be generous with these, because I want the cards to be sick, and I feel like we all agree, right? Like, there's no point in them bringing out a team of the season card that is just completely unusable. So I've gone above and beyond maybe what I should do with some of the ratings, but hey, it's fun. So Eriksen's been solid again, especially with all the injuries that Spurs have had. He's been one of their most reliable players, especially in the season where like Dele Alli hasn't been as good. Kane, like I say, has been injured a lot. You've had a bit of a chop and change with Lucas Moura, with Heung-min Son going up front, playing wide, and it's been all over the place. I feel like Eriksen has been that consistent player. He's obviously getting very strong links to Real Madrid right now in the transfer window, and so who knows what's going to happen, basically. Now, I can't remember if my next player is... No, my next player is a forward. Okay, so that's fine. So, honourable mentions that we've got right here. Oh no, I've got some more in the reserve, so we'll get to that in a second. Okay. Next up, we have got Aguero on the bench. I know. My bench and reserves are ridiculous. They probably won't be as good as this. They'll probably put in some more lower rated players rather than what I've got. But Aguero's been sick. I still think he's one of the best, if not the best player in the league. Very, very, very good player. Again, maybe I've been a bit over generous with the stats, but I've basically just whacked plus 10 on everything like I said before. They probably won't be as good as that, otherwise he'd be a 99 rated card with stats like that. But still, it's a lot of fun. I want the best possible cards, man. And Aguero's just an absolute baller, and especially if they win the league, then he's going to get in regardless. Mane is our last substitute. Again, could easily have been in the starting 11. He's been sick this season, in a year where a lot of people were saying, oh, Salah's been a one-season wonder. I mean, he's actually top scorer as it stands, but still. Mane has stepped up to the mark and got like 20 goals as well. He's been very, very good, and he's also been good in the Champions League. Like, his goal against Bayern Munich was solid. So, Mane's been sick this year, and is the reason, or one of the reasons why Liverpool are so close to Man City in this ridiculous title race that we've got. Like, it's so much fun, this race, isn't it? So, so good. Next up, reserves. I got João Moutinho. A lot of people thought Neves was going to be the guy for Wolves this season. I think it's been Moutinho. Every time I've watched them, I feel like he's been the one dictating the game. Especially in, they played against us. The first time they played us this season, he was sick. Absolutely sick. And I feel like he's taken the place of what people thought Neves was going to be this year. And I think Moutinho, he's gone a little bit under the radar. So, very, very astute signing. Well done to the mega agent or whoever it is that Wolves have got, because he has been solid. Last midfielder, I've put down Felipe Anderson. Now, second half of the season, he's not been anywhere near as good as the first half. And so, it's a tough one whether he will actually get in or not. I really don't know. But the main reason why I put him in over the honourable mentions that I'll go over in a second is because his card would be one of the most fun to use. So, again, I want the best cards and the most fun cards. So, that's why he is in there. Honourable mentions for midfield. I've got down... I had Wilf down, like Ndidi. I don't think that he deserves it, though, after getting the inform. I thought he might have gotten most consistent if he didn't get the inform, but I think that's completely ruined his chances. But in terms of, like, defensive mids, there's not been loads that have been incredible this season. But I've also put down Idrissa Gana Gueye. I think that he's been pretty solid. He's up there with, like, the most tackles in the league alongside Wilf. Like, they're both destroyers, and so... there's a chance that maybe one of those could go in if they really want to bring in like a proper defensive midfielder kind of guy, right? So we'll have to wait and see with that one. Next up, I've got Gylfi and Milivojevic. Again, Milivojevic could get in through the most consistent, and Gylfi's actually been pretty good. And again, going towards the end of the season, Everton have picked up a little bit. So, there's a chance, and obviously, again, there's more people. I could have put down James Maddison in here because he's in the most consistent one. I don't think he deserves Team of the Season, and again, I'm a Leicester fan. So, I'd be surprised if he got in, but who knows. Some of the decisions back, like, in previous years for Team of the Seasons have been dodgy, so I don't know. Next up, we have got our forwards. I've got Aubameyang on the bench. Now, this could either be... I put basically a slash. Aubameyang or Lacazette. I don't know which one's going to get in. I think only one of the two will get in. I've gone with Aubameyang purely because he's scored more goals. He's been involved in, I think, one less goal in the league than Lacazette. Goals and assists combined. But I still think that he will get in the Team of the Season ahead of Laka, just because it's Aubameyang. Next up, we've got Callum Wilson. Had a very, very good season. Him and a couple of other Bournemouth players have played very, very well. And there's no surprise that he's being linked with a lot of clubs who are in need for like a bit of an upgrade at striker. He's being the guy touted around as 50 mil for Callum Wilson. He's going to Chelsea or whatever. So he's been very, very good. It's a shame that his card in FIFA isn't great because of his weak foot and skill moves. But still, a Team of the Season would be nice. And then the last bench player I've gone with is Jimenez. Now, this was tricky. In terms of ones that I wrote down, again, Lacazette. Vardy has got more goals than Jimenez. So, it was tempting to put him. However, Wolves are going to finish 7th. And I think that alone will push Jimenez above Jamie. He's got more assists as well, but less goals. I think they've been involved in the same amount of goals this season. But Jimenez has been a very, very good signing. They've actually made it permanent now when it was just a loan from Benfica before. And he's been very, very good. So that would be a nice one to see. He's actually not got an inform this year. He's only got a man of the match, which is crazy because I think he's got like 15 goals, something like that in the league, which is crazy. So, yeah, Jimenez. So that makes up our bench and reserves. Now we get into the starting 11. And this is where the controversy will begin, right? Because a lot of you guys are probably going to disagree with me. But hey, these are my predictions. It's not necessarily who I want to get in the Team of the Season. It's who I think will get in, okay? And again, I've told you all the guys that I think have just missed out. And with weekly objectives and SBCs this year, I think we could get up to like between 3 and 5 more players on top of this like squad. So it's going to be pretty sick. So you could get yourself a Vardy, a Gylfi, Chilwell, whatever. Next, we move on to the starting 11. I'm going to go with Alisson over Ederson because I feel like he has been a difference maker in Liverpool's team this season that they needed, and him combined with like Van Dijk and everyone has been very, very good. A lot of people have questioned the fact that he likes to have the ball at his feet or whatever. But he has been good and he's pulled off some ridiculously good saves and he has the most clean sheets in the league as well. Which, whilst that doesn't necessarily mean that the goalkeeper themselves has been good, it just means that him and the defence have been good. I still think that will push him to get in that starting 11 spot. Next up, we're just going to do that. because it's no surprise. The Liverpool defence has been ridiculous. And the only reason why I'm not putting basically their whole back four in is because Gomez played like half a season, and then you've had Matip and Lovren all over the place. So I think it'd be hard to choose between them. But Robertson has been absolutely unreal this season. Van Dijk is just... well, there's a reason he won Player of the Year. He's sick. And then Trent has been solid as well. Even though he had that little bit of injury, he's been sick either side of it. So I'm going to put 3 or 4 of Liverpool's back 5 in the team of the season. Which, if you had said that a couple of years ago, people would be laughing at you like, what the hell are you talking about? But this year, just, wow. Absolutely mad how good their defence has been. And then the last defender I'm going to put in is Laporte, because I feel like he's been very, very good. And he's also been one of the players in Man City's team that has played pretty much every game. I think he's only not started like 2, which is mad, considering how good their squad is and how much chopping and changing there is. So I feel like he's been very good, and again, a very, very good signing. Basically replacing Company, and going forward, he's probably going to be their main guy at centre-back. So back 4 and goalkeeper are from the top 2 in the league. No real surprise there. Again, with Dean, Wan-Bissaka, there's quite a few others that could get in, but I feel like these guys have just been that good that they deserve to be in there. Next up, we have got ourselves Bernardo Silva. Personally, I think he's been one of the top 3 players in the league this season. Every single time I've watched him, I've been impressed. He's so good. And he is basically the new David Silva, really, isn't he? He is an absolute baller. I was tempted to put him higher than 94 because he's been that good, but I just don't know whether they'll boost him up that much because of what his starting rating was. I don't know. So, and how many special cards he's got compared to like Laporte, who's up to like an 88 or something. So, it's hard, but Bernardo Silva has to be in the starting 11. There's no way that he can't be. He's been too good. Now, here's a controversial one. I'm going to stick Paul Pogba in there. Now, a lot of people won't, and a lot of people were saying, like, oh, why is he in there in the PFA team of the season or whatever? And the only reason why, other than the fact that he's been involved in, like, 20 plus goals from midfield, I know a few of them have been penalties, but still, he has dominated games and won his team games multiple times this season. Again, it's difficult to say whether someone like Eriksen or Wijnaldum or whatever could come into the midfield to replace him. But I just don't know. It's a difficult one. Again, with the amount of goals he's been involved in, it's hard to not whack him in there, really. So, again, controversial, I know, but Paul Pogba's in my team. Next up, I'm going to go with Ryan Fraser. Now, you may be knowing at this stage, another honourable mention that I didn't want to say just yet. I've not put Fernandinho in, but I think he could get one. Like, maybe, for example, instead of Wijnaldum, maybe Fernandinho. Because Man City look a completely different team when he's not playing. And it's not even that he has been insanely good in every single game he's played. He just allows them to play in a certain way when he's part of the squad. So I feel like he is he's one of the highest honourable mentions that could easily replace someone. Like, he could even replace Pogba. So I don't want people to think that I'm missing him out. Like, he was very, very close. Okay? But Ryan Fraser has got more assists than anyone in the league this season, and playing for a Bournemouth team, him and Callum Wilson together have been so sick. And yeah, I think he deserves it. He is going to be linked with a lot of people. I would love us to sign him, but that's not going to happen, is it? He's going to go to someone higher than Leicester if he does leave, him and Wilson. So I kind of, at the same time, hope that Bournemouth keep him and see how well they can do together next season. It'd be very nice to see. But Ryan Fraser, I think that's fully deserved. I think he's been an absolute baller this season. Other than against us, actually, in the second game this season. He was terrible, but, I mean, you can't argue with most assists in the league, can you? Next up, our 3 forwards. We've got Mo Salah, touted as a one-season wonder until people kind of forgot that he was top of the goal scorers list this season, and he's actually been good. Not quite at the insane level of last year, but he's still been insane. And he's scored a lot of goals, he's got quite a few assists, and he's been pivotal in Liverpool being so close to winning the league this season. Well, it's going to go down to the last game, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see. But Mo Salah's in there. Then I've got Hazard. And Hazard's been sick. This could potentially be his last season in the Premier League, which is why I boosted him a little bit higher than maybe I would have, because he'll probably be going Real Madrid. And so I wanted to give him a good send-off card. It won't be as good as that if he gets one. It won't, but still, again, I want to give these cards ridiculous ratings and stats. So Hazard's in there because he's been solid this season, and he's been trying to carry a Chelsea team that's been a bit all over the place, especially with this new Sarri ball. And then the last one, you can obviously guess, is going to be Raheem. As he won the Young Player of the Year, he's going to be in this as well. And so that completes my Premier League team of the season. What are your predictions? Do you hate this? Do you think it's terrible? Do you think I've made awful decisions? Let me know by putting it in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy this though, hit the thumbs up button down below, and that would be much appreciated for you showing your support. But that is going to be the end of this video. Again, I'd love to hear your feedback, but I'm going to end it here before people just start typing even more controversy. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.